When I got that call from Governor Cuomo threatening me and my career, my livelihood, to lie for him, I wasn't scared of his bully tactics, but I was afraid that he would escape accountability.
On my orders, coalition forces have begun striking selective
$3.5 million.
What difference at this point does circle back?
Well, we were promised transparency on day one of the Biden White House, but as the press demands access to the unprecedented situation at the border, they continue to be denied.
We'll always be honest and transparent with you about both the good news and the bad.
If you all wanted to grant access to the press, couldn't you just tell DHS to do it?
Again, we fully support transparency, and I would
way softer on illegal immigration than Donald Trump becomes president. They assume they're going to be able to cross the border. Now, yes, adults might be being turned away, but they've worked out if you can throw a kid over the border, well, then the kid will get to stay. The kid maybe will be able to be an anchor that can bring the family with them. Yet, the White House will not call this a crisis because they don't want to get rid of that.
By EU officials that they are indeed preparing sanctions against Burmese companies with ties to the military regime, and that we may see those in the coming weeks.
In Mexico, 15,000 unaccompanied children are now locked up under Joe Biden, many more than under Trump, and asylum seekers are actually thanking Joe Biden for encouraging them to come over. Listen to these.
Biden promised that we can cross with minors.
He also said he's thankful for President Biden. He told me we heard that he was giving opportunities.
Should Washington, D.C. become a state? House lawmakers holding a hearing on that very subject today, in fact. Republicans say it's a blatant Democratic power grab. Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin from Maryland saying it's about giving residents a voice. He says
I will conclude by saying H.R. 51 is an unconstitutional bill. I think most people here realize that. I think this is another political game that the Democrats are playing.
Big can of worms, the fact that they cancelled him and not other people on Twitter that were spreading misinformation. And I think it's a good thing that Donald Trump is coming back to social media. We can't selectively silence people out there, and that's what has been proven to happen. So I think a lot of people will be very happy to be hearing from Donald Trump again.
Earlier today on Media Buzz, Trump senior advisor Jason Miller says that we could see him back online in a different way.
I do think that we're going to see President Trump returning to social media in probably about 2 or 3 months here with his own platform. And this is something
Western societies seem to be tearing themselves apart. There's this new tribalism, there's multiculturalism, people entrenched in their own, my side, your side, the anti-white racism.
Just make me wonder about some things, and I'm looking at Cardi B, how she have allowed the white liberals to use her. They've trained her how she needs to disrespect her body and degrade herself for 30 pieces of silk. Come on, girl.
And the government has warned the European Union that any attempt to block the export of coronavirus vaccines to the UK would be counterproductive. The Defence Secretary, Ben Wallace, told the BBC there's a risk of reputational damage to the EU if it stops vaccines manufactured on the continent from leaving.
Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google, and other social media essentially serve as government proxies. So do a wider universe of technology companies, telecoms, and financial companies that have formed a de facto social credit system to penalize unpopular opinions and political expressions. This systematic viewpoint-based discrimination is inherently un-American. At least that's what we were once taught. But in 2021, principled free speech advocates are few and far between who will defend free speech even if they abhor it.
Apparently Donald Trump, banned from all other forms of social media, might be about to start his own. Now, before we go into 3 minutes of speculation and getting people excited...
We have the possibility to ban planned exports. This is a message to AstraZeneca. You fulfill your part of the deal towards Europe before you start to deliver to other countries.
It seems that the EU could be holding back on millions of vaccines that are due to be transported to the UK in the next few weeks if it takes that decision to suspend all vaccine exports to the UK.
Both the EU and the UK have contracts for vaccines to be produced.
The Prime Minister is expected to call Emmanuel Macron and Angela Merkel before they make their decision later this week. British ministers have warned the EU's international reputation is on the line if it is seen to break international contracts. European Commission President.
The COVID-19 vaccine developed by AstraZeneca and Oxford University was 79% effective in preventing symptomatic illness in a large trial in Chile, Peru and the United States, and was 100% effective against severe or critical disease and hospitalization.
Is that on the continent right now, you can see, sadly, there is a third wave underway, and people in this country should be under no illusions that previous experience has taught us that when a wave hits our friends, it I'm afraid, washes up on our shores.
In Germany, up to 75% of all new infections are now the British virus, and there is an increase in the spread of this virus, a dramatic increase even in the last few days. So that means that this meeting that was supposed to be about loosening restrictions is now going to be the opposite. It's going to be about extending the lockdown, perhaps.
Miami Beach police are taking drastic measures to enforce a new 8 p.m. curfew as spring breakers overwhelm the city.
In a protest against new police powers, it was soon police themselves who became the target. Vans and a police car set on fire, fireworks thrown into the crowd, as around 1,000 protesters gathered in Bristol city centre in what has been, police say, the worst violence the city has seen in years. There's a row of police blocking off what is the central police station here in Bristol.
Well, I'm incredibly saddened by the dreadful scenes that we saw here yesterday afternoon and yesterday evening. Really significant damage, 12 vehicles, police vehicles we can't use now, significant damage to this police station.
We have people we know roll around the country looking for any opportunity to participate in a demo and any opportunity to live out their fantasies of being revolutionaries by attacking symbols of what they see as the establishment. And I suspect that's an element of, a very strong element of what happened in Bristol last night.
A volcano in southwest Iceland has erupted, releasing streams of lava from under the Earth's surface. It follows thousands of small earthquakes in the area over recent weeks. The fissure erupted 30 kilometers from the capital, Reykjavik, and is more than 500 meters long. This is the first eruption in the area in centuries.
Here of this most beautiful thing that I have seen, this volcano, we are just making that people are safe and trying to let people have distance from the lava. People were getting a little bit nervous about it because it has been for 2 weeks straight or 3 weeks, I don't know. But now,
years ago, 4 days of rain would have been a blessing in our drought-ridden country. But this weekend, it has knocked New South Wales to the ground.
To dig the holes to bury the rubbish, somebody's got to compensate these people. We're talking about the flood, we're not talking about the after effects of the flood. And the after effects of the flood is what's worrying me about the people that I love.
Well,